The things you use every day, the foods you eat, the customs you follow, all come from somewhere. The history is usually not what you would expect. Most of it is dark, some of it is disturbing, all of it is true. The wedding ring. The reason we wear them on the fourth finger of the left hand comes from ancient Romans who believed a vein ran directly from that finger to the heart. They were completely wrong about anatomy, but the tradition stuck for over 2,000 years. Bicycles caused a mass moral panic in the 1890s. Doctors warned that riding them caused a medical condition they called bicycle face, supposedly leaving women permanently flushed, exhausted, and emotionally unstable. It was used as an argument to ban women from cycling. Tea bags were invented by accident. In 1908, a New York tea importer sent samples to customers in small silk pouches. The customers misunderstood and dropped the entire pouch into the cup. The convenience caught on instantly, and the tea bag was born. The dollar bill is full of hidden symbols. The eye above the pyramid was added in 1935 and represents divine providence watching over the United States. The unfinished pyramid is meant to symbolize that the country is still growing. Both symbols are taken from the Great Seal. The high five was invented in 1977. A baseball player named Glenn Burke spontaneously raised his hand to celebrate a teammate's home run. The gesture caught on. Before that, people clapped, shook hands, or just nodded. The high five did not exist. The QWERTY keyboard was designed to slow you down. In the 1870s, mechanical typewriters jammed when typists worked too fast. The QWERTY layout deliberately placed commonly paired letters far apart to physically slow the typist. We still use it today. Pink used to be a masculine color. Until the 1940s, pink was considered a strong, bold color appropriate for boys, while blue was seen as delicate and feminine. The current association was reversed by department store marketing campaigns in the post-war era. Toothbrushes evolved from chew sticks. For thousands of years, people simply chewed on the end of a small twig to clean their teeth. The first bristled toothbrush appeared in China in 1498, made from pig hair. Mass-produced nylon toothbrushes did not arrive until 1938. Birthday candles were a Greek invention. Ancient Greeks placed candles on cakes to honor Artemis, the goddess of the moon. The candles were meant to make the cakes glow like the moon itself. Blowing them out was a prayer for safety in the year ahead. The original Roman gladiator games started as funeral rituals. Wealthy Romans organized small fights to honor dead family members, believing the spilled blood would feed the spirits. Over centuries, the rituals expanded into the massive arena spectacles we associate with the empire. The first computer bug was a literal bug. In 1947, engineers at Harvard found a moth stuck in a relay of the Mark II computer. They taped the moth into the logbook with a note reading, "First actual case of bug being found." The logbook is now in a museum. Pretzels were invented by a monk in 610 AD. He twisted strips of leftover bread dough to look like arms crossed in prayer. He gave them to children who could recite their prayers correctly. They were called pretiola, Latin for little rewards. Chainsaws were originally a medical device. In 1780, two Scottish doctors invented them to make a procedure called a symphysiotomy easier, used in childbirth complications. The hand-cranked surgical chainsaw was used on humans for nearly a century before evolving into a forestry tool. Tipping started in medieval England, where masters of large estates gave money to servants for exceptional work. The custom was brought to America by wealthy travelers in the 1850s. It was widely hated. 6 U.S. states actually banned tipping in the early 1900s. The plus and minus signs in mathematics were invented in 1489 by a German mathematician named Johannes Widmann. Before then, mathematicians wrote out the words in full. Equations took up entire pages. Modern math notation is barely 500 years old. Cleopatra lived closer in time to the moon landing than to the building of the Great Pyramid. The pyramid was already over 2,000 years old by the time Cleopatra was born. Ancient history is much deeper than most people realize. The first novel ever written was The Tale of Genji, by a Japanese noblewoman named Murasaki Shikibu, around the year 1010. It is over 1,000 pages long, contains hundreds of characters, and predates the European novel by more than 700 years. Velcro was invented by accident in 1941. A Swiss engineer named Georges de Mestral noticed how burrs stuck to his dog's fur after a walk. He examined them under a microscope, saw thousands of tiny hooks, and spent the next decade engineering the synthetic version. Beauty marks were originally used to cover smallpox scars. In 18th century Europe, smallpox was so common that wealthy people glued tiny patches of black silk on their faces to disguise the scars. The patches evolved into a fashion statement that lasted for over 100 years. The shortest war in history lasted 38 minutes. In 1896, the British Navy bombarded the Zanzibari Sultan's palace in a dispute over succession. The Sultan's forces surrendered before lunch. Most of the casualties were civilians who happened to be in the wrong place. The microwave oven was discovered by accident. In 1945, an engineer named Percy Spencer was working on radar equipment when a chocolate bar in his pocket melted. He realized the magnetron was heating food, and within a year had built the first commercial microwave. Coca-Cola really did originally contain cocaine. The original formula in 1886 included extracts from the coca leaf and the cola nut. It was marketed as a health tonic. The cocaine was removed by 1903, but the name remained. The current recipe is still kept secret in an Atlanta vault. These are the histories that get edited out of textbooks. Most things you use every day have stranger origins than you would expect. Comment below with the one that surprised you most. And subscribe for more weird history that nobody tells you.